All right, guys. Brand new chapter. It's called agreement. Two types: subject-verb agreement, pronoun antecedent agreement. This chapter is not too hard, but what's difficult about it is that there are so many rules. So when you see a slide where I've discussed a rule, make sure you copy it down and get it down. A lot of this chapter is rote memorization. And when you know the rule in the situation, you just plug it in and you should be good, okay? So let's first start off with a concept of how a subject and a verb agree. A verb agrees with its subject in number. So singular subjects take singular verbs. Oh, baby. That's my favorite right there. Oh, yeah. That lighthouse was Currituck, and it is my favorite lighthouse in the United States. Can we all spot the error that's you might remember from clauses? Might be a little error in punctuation. All right, while you're thinking about that one, subject lighthouse, singular, takes singular past tense was. Subject it, singular, takes present singular is. You don't need to know that present singular stuff. You just need to know singular and plural. Plural subjects take plural verbs. The red crabs that take land on Christmas Island during the mating season number in the millions. Oh, yeah. Look at those bad boys. Look all the way down the street. Look at how, oh my goodness. All right, so crabs is plural, so number is singular. Or sorry, plural. I was thinking about what I was going to say next. Here's something that's goofy. In English, quite often, our singular nouns do not have an S, but our singular verbs do. Our plural nouns do have an S. Our plural verbs do not. For example, the runner wins. The runners win. Okay? That can sometimes mess with you. So don't let it. Just know how the verbs work. Plural verb, no S. Singular verb, S. On most occasions. When you get into irregular verbs, those rules change. Oh, now, see, if we were in class right now, I'd hit that little link called Krabby Patties and actually take you to a 3 or so minute video about these crabs in Christmas Island. That's actually pretty fascinating. I think that's a really cool phenomenon that goes on down there. Christmas Island is near Australia. If you'd like to view that video, I provided the link for you. It's nothing more but knowledge. You know, knowledge is never bad. So if you want to pause me here, check that out and come back, you can. If you don't want to, you don't have to. But I think you'd enjoy it. All right, back to subject-verb agreement. The number of a subject does not become changed by a phrase following the subject. It is going to be so important for you to recognize prepositional phrases in this chapter, okay? Because the prepositional phrases will mess with you big time. One of the students is going on the field trip. Now, you see you have a singular verb, one, and a plural object of the preposition students. That does not influence this. Remember, a subject can never be in the prepositional phrase, and it cannot influence a subject or a noun. So one is always going to be singular, so it is. You do not refer to students and thus make the verb change to are. And I just sort of already covered this. Find your prep phrases and ignore them. Cross them out. Get rid of them. They are there to trick you. All right, here we go with the rules. Those first few things are just the introduction of the concept of agreement. Now, let's hit the rules. We're going to be dealing a lot with indefinite pronouns. Pronouns that a lot of the time could be adjective or pronoun. Pronouns that don't necessarily point to a person or a thing. Definitely. These following pronouns are all singular. All the ones, all the bodies, and all the things. So by all the ones, I mean anyone, everyone, someone, no one. All the bodies, anybody, everybody, nobody, somebody. All the things, something, nothing, etc., etc. Now, you might be thinking, and you should be jotting this down, all the ones, all the bodies, and all the things is just a little mnemonic, so you don't have to write down all the possible words. You might be thinking, well, Mr. Ayers, everybody sounds like a bunch of people. I'm going to ask everybody at the party. Lots of people. Okay. But we treat it as a singular pronoun. This and the next chapter, case, are also going to be challenging because we break some of the rules of standard grammar in a spoken sense. So because we break them in a spoken sense, we say things that are non-standard. When we think about them when we're doing grammar exercises and the like or writing papers, then we are going to think how we would say it, and that isn't necessarily the quote-unquote correct way to say it, the standard way of saying it. So you got to be careful when these areas pop up. They're going to mess with you. I will try and point them out as they come along, but I think everyone, everybody, anybody, those you may view as plural, but they're all singular. These are all plural, and I think you can see their plurality. Few, many, both, several. Okay? Those will always be plural. Now I get to mess with you in just a short moment of time. And remember when I just said that you are supposed to ignore the prepositional phrases that follow one of these pronouns? Well, if one of the pronouns we're talking about is one of these, you actually have to pay attention to the prepositional phrase, because the object of the preposition, whether it's plural or singular, will tell you whether these are plural or singular. Ayers, you're killing me here. So most of the time, you can cross out the prep phrases, but if you have one of these six, the unholy six, if you have one of them, you cannot. Let's look at it in practice. Some of the money is left on the table versus some of the quarters do not work in the machine. Some, one of the unholy six, singular or plural, well, we refer to the prepositional phrase and the noun in that prep phrase, money, as that is singular. That affects some, making it singular, thus making it agree with is. So when you know that you have a singular subject, you then check your verb and say, does it agree? Is it singular? Yes, it is. Some of the money are left on the table? Not so much. Next. Once again, it's the exact same sentence except for the change of the prepositional phrase as far as the pronoun we're using. Some of the quarters refer to the noun in the prepositional phrase, quarters, plural, thus that makes some plural. Thus we go from does, which would be singular, to do work in the machine. Okay, so do would be the verb influenced. All right, so ignore all prep phrases unless they are these six. Make sure you have those taken down in some sort of capacity in your notes, and make sure you get those six memorized. Make sure you get all the plural ones memorized, and make sure each, either, neither, all the ones, bodies, or things you get memorized. Hold on, I got to back up. Did I do each, either, neither? Okay, it was there, but I didn't say it. Okay, so let me make sure I visit this. Ooh. Each, either, and neither, too. Each, either, neither, and all the ones, bodies, and things. So really the large preponderance of these pronouns are singular. Okay, let us sample. Each of the camels was in search of a drink. Now what you're doing here is saying, does the pronoun match the verb? Does the subject match the verb? They won't always be pronouns. I'll throw regular nouns at you now and again. So we have to determine if each is the subject, is this verb singular? So we have to know if each is singular. Well, in each, either, neither, all the ones, bodies, or things, I told you that was singular. So each is singular. Ooh, where'd my cursor go? Was is singular. That's a match. The best way to do this, by the way, is, it's old hat now, but pause it when you see a sentence, come up with your answer for the next one, and so on. And then see if you are correct. Few of the girls want to go to summer camp. Okay, so we're matching the subject, few, not girls, because that's in a prep phrase, few with want, and we're seeing if they're both plural. Well, we know few is plural because it's one of the four plurals, and want is plural as well. It is not an irregular verb, and it does not end in an S. That's how we know it's plural. Carelessness and the use of simple tools cause many household accidents. Okay, so our verb is cause, and our subject is not tools, because that's in a prep phrase, not use, because that's in a prep phrase, but carelessness. Carelessness, abstract concept, but it is singular. Carelessness is singular. Cause is cause singular. It is not. Causes. And let me pull up a quick paradigm that we can work with here. If I can find a document. There we go. Okay. If you are wondering if a verb is singular or plural, use he, she to stand in for singular and they to stand in for plural. And then try the verb. Okay? Now this one your ear can help you with most of the time, but I still don't want you to rely on it. He or she caused the ruckus. He or she causes the ruckus. All right, so that's one little sort of trick you can do in your brain is to use he, she for singular, they for plural. In fact, even have them substitute if you want for few, if that's messing with you. And then take your verb, and if it's not irregular, you should be able to do this quite easily. Some of the irregular verbs that you'll most commonly run into are like do, because does and do are different. Have and has, and then be, of course, is, are, was, were, all of those. Those are probably the three most common irregular verbs you're going to run into. So remember this. Jot it down if you would like, if it helps. Let's go back here. Oh, hey, ho, yeah, give me back here. Oops, I got to do that. Am I really doing this? Okay, I am really doing this. Next, the buildings along the riverfront seem to be unoccupied. So our subject is buildings. Our verb is seem. Buildings is plural, so seem has to be plural. Is it? Well, remember, plural regular verbs do not have an S, so seem does match with buildings. Judy, along with Steve, Ricardo, and Natalie, has decided to become a teacher. Okay, so has decided. Decided's in the past tense, so we don't have to worry about it. It's this has. Will it be has or will it be have? Has is singular, have is plural. And now here's the trick. What is our subject? I'll give you a second. Hopefully you said just Judy, because along with Steve, Ricardo, and Natalie is a prepositional phrase, along with. So since Judy is our subject, she is singular. Has is our verb, that is singular. This one is bueno. We'll do one more sample set of slides. The opinion of the critics, not the acclaim of the audience, determine the success of a play. Okay, pause, blah, blah, blah. Hopefully you did not go for critics as a subject or acclaim or audience, because those are all not viable for subjecthood. It's opinion. That is your subject. And then determine is our verb, so we have to see if they match. Opinion is singular. Determine, well, plural verbs do not have an S, so singular verbs have to have one. As determine is a regular verb, then this needs an S to match. So it should be opinion determines. Opinion determines the success of a play. These other things in here, prepositional phrases and the like. Has any of the paint been delivered? Okay, remember, turn this into a statement to make it better. Any of the paint has been delivered. Now, any is one of the six, unholy six. So now you're referring to the prepositional phrase. The prepositional phrase tells you that paint is singular, thus any is singular. So now we know that any is singular. Has is singular, have is plural. So any and has do agree, this sentence is good. Neither of the girls were 15. Now see, this is one where your ear is going to mess with you. I bet you that you say neither of the girls were 15, and that doesn't ring badly on your ear. But the problem is that is not standard. Remember, we do not look at of the girls unless it's with one of the unholy six. Neither, each, either, neither, all the ones, bodies, or things, that is always singular, were is past plural. So that needs to be, say it Dora style, was. Very good. Neither of the girls was 15. Several of the tires needs air. All right, now several, I hate missing this cursor. Several, always plural. Needs, oops. Well, how many times have I said already? Plural verbs do not have an S. So that needs to be need. Several need air. One of us have to help out on Saturday. Well, us isn't possible for a subject because it's in a prep phrase. One counts as one of the ones. Anyone, no one, someone, one. Okay? So each, either, neither, all the ones, bodies, and things. One is singular. The verb we're referencing is have. As I've stated before, have is plural. So have needs to become has. Booyakasha. One of us has to help out on Saturday. And finally, everyone is going to be there. Everyone is singular. Each, either, neither, all the ones, bodies, and things. Is the verb in question. Well, of course, is singular. So everyone and is agree. What slide does that take me to? More samples. That's 8. 8 out of a possible, I think, 16. We're going to stop there. All right. So that's really, those are just 3 of the rules. Singular pronouns, plural pronouns, and either-or pronouns, singular or plural pronouns. By the time we are done, our book does this alphabetically, so it'll give you a rule, that would be A, then the next rule will be B, and the next rule will be C. So we covered 3 rules, so we would be up to 5C, Chapter 5C, the 3rd rule. We will be like in PQR by the time we're done. I'm telling you, there are a lot of rules here. These 3, though, are the biggies. By the way, agreement is an area the SAT loves to hit. You may have seen some agreements on the recent PSATs. So you need to get these down. It'll only behoove you for the future. You'll get more mileage out of knowing these 3 rules than you'll probably will out of knowing like the last 5, 6, or 7. Because the last bunch of rules are very particular instances. These 3 rules affect, I would say, more than 50% of your agreement issues. They're going to come up with these 3 rules. All right, so this is the first half of the lecture, and second half coming soon.